Now, this June marks the 80th anniversary of the D-Day landings, the largest sea, air and land invasion in history that helped bring the Second World War to an end.
But a crucial part of the operation actually happened 6 months earlier, when 5 men crammed into a mini submarine and set off to France on a top-secret mission. Steve Humphrey has this remarkable wartime story.
They were one of Britain's top-secret weapons. X-class midget submarines were rushed into production during the Second World War. These tiny subs played a massive role in a series of military missions.
They are absolutely tiny. These were 51 feet in length. It's basically a perfect submarine in miniature.
The midget submarines needed a very reliable engine, and this is what they chose: a London bus engine. 80 years ago, at the start of 1944, a midget submarine carried out a secret mission that was crucial to the success of D-Day, the Allied landings on the Normandy coast of France. Can you imagine your dad in there for 5 days?
God, they are small, aren't they?
Robbie's dad was amongst the 5 men crammed on board for the highly secretive voyage to the coast of German-occupied France.
Well, I suffer from claustrophobia, so I'd be terrified to be in a small sub like this.
The people planning D-Day were desperate for information about the Normandy beaches. One of the important parts of the operation involved the midget submarine sitting just offshore so they could use the periscope to observe the Germans and see how they were reinforcing their coastal defences. They also needed to know if the beaches would support tanks and to get up close to the defences. So 2 men would swim ashore right under the noses of the Germans. Robbie's dad, Logan Scott Bowden, and his colleague Bruce Ogden Smith were both Royal Engineers and members of a secret unit based on Hayling Island called the Combined Operations Pilotage Parties. Did your dad talk about the dangers, the risks, the pressures?
I think they were all very, very modest about what they did. Wonderful guys, yeah.
They swam ashore on 2 nights in January 1944.
It's pitch black. They did it on a moonless night for a reason, because it meant they were less likely to be discovered. They were in their early 20s at best. These guys were dealing with life and death decisions every second. If they'd have been caught, what would have happened to the D-Day plan?
The mission to Omaha was the second in just a few weeks. Scott Bowden had also swum ashore from a small landing craft on New Year's Eve to check Gold Beach. He spoke about that mission in 2009.
Churchill said, well, they'll all be celebrating on New Year's Eve. They won't be patrolling very much. It's a good opportunity.
After returning here to Gosport from the voyage to Omaha Beach, Scott Bowden advised an American general that landing on it would be very, very difficult.
He went out of his way to say that to General Omaha Bradley. But, you know, Omaha Bradley he said, I know, son, and he put his arm around him and said, don't worry, we understand.
The story of what happened was told in the film Saving Private Ryan, and Logan Scott Bowden was there on D-Day.
He was there when they went in on that very part with Saving Private Ryan, where you see it. My father cannot speak more highly of the 29th Division, of the bravery that he saw on that day. He said it was just incredible.
The midget submarines were also back in action on D-Day. On part of the French coast, they came to the surface to show the invasion fleet where to land. Beaches which had been carefully checked by 2 brave soldiers 6 months earlier. Steve Humphrey, BBC News.
Pretty basic technology, but what incredible work in those submarines and made quite clearly such a difference. More on that for you a little later.